Alright, in this last video, I'm just going to do one last example from this chapter. So we're basically asked to factorise this polynomial x cubed, take 2x squared, take 5x plus 6. Okay, traditional methods, okay, it's going to be quite complicated by the methods that we know of, okay. So we're going to have a look at, so we can't group it, we can't take out a factor very easily. It's a cubic, there is a cubic formula, like our quadratic formula, to find our factors of x, but that is 2 or 3 pages long, so we generally don't use the cubic factor theorem. So basically what we've got to do is use what we've just learnt, the remainder and factor theorems. Okay, now it's not easy, but if we follow the method, we'll get there in the end. So first step, generally look at your constant term, 6. This is our first step, so look at 6. Alright, what are the factors of 6? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 6 itself. Okay, we can also say plus and minus. Okay, minus 3 times minus 2 would give us positive 6, for example. Alright, next step, using our remainder theorem. So we want to find one of these numbers. We're going to use one of these numbers into our polynomial, and hopefully it'll give us a 0 when we do that. So let's have a look. We'll do the first one. Let's do minus 1. P of minus 1, what does that give us? So minus 1 cubed, take 2 times minus 1 squared, take 5 times minus 1 plus 6. Minus 1 cubed, well that's minus 1. 2 times, so this will be positive 1, so minus 2. Will become plus 5 plus 6. So 11, take 2, take 1, should give us 8. Okay, it's not equal to 0, so minus 1 is not a factor. Let's have a look at positive 1. P of 1, okay, so we've got 1 cubed, take 2 times 1 squared, take 5 times 1 plus 6. 1, take 2, take 5 plus 6. So that gives us minus 7 plus 7, which is 0. So what we've found is x minus 1 is a factor. Okay, remember, swap the signs. When we have positive 1, our linear factor is minus 1. So x minus 1 is a factor of this, because when we use our remainder theorem we had 0. Okay, now let's rewrite it. So we've got p of x. Now using our factor, okay, we've got x, take 1. We know that's a factor, so let's start with that. What are we left with? Well, that's the hard part. So when we take a linear factor out of this, our powers are going to reduce by 1. So this cubed is going to be squared, this is going to be linear, and that's going to disappear because we're taking x out as a factor here. Alright, so we're going to have a x squared term, we're going to have a x term, and a constant term. Now if you remember what our a, b and c's are for quadratic formulas, so we've got ax squared plus bx plus c. That's just the general equation for a quadratic. What we do next is trying to find what these values are, a, b and c. And to do that is the next step. So if you have a look back up at our polynomial, p of x is x cubed, take 2x squared, plus 5x plus 6. Okay, this plus 6, again, that's our first step. How can we go from minus 1 when we multiply that out to get c? Minus 1 times c to get 6. What does that c have to be to get a positive 6? Well, it has to be minus 6. Minus 6 times minus 1 gives us positive 6. So already c is going to be minus 6. Now, if we multiply ax squared by x, well, that's going to give us ax cubed. That's what we want, our x cubed term. We've just factorised it before. When we expand it, we would get that again. So what we're looking at is what value, okay, equating coefficients. A, what number's in front of that? Well, it's invisible 1. So we can say A is actually equal to 1. So we've got 1, 2, just need to find B. And that's the hard part. So let's just rewrite it. So we've got x take A, x take 1, sorry. A is 1, so x squared plus bx take 6. Just need to find B. Now, again, remembering equating coefficients. So our p of x, this is that equation up here. So we've got x cubed take 2x squared take 5x plus 6. Okay, and that's equal to what we've just found, which is x take 1 x squared plus bx take 6. Okay, I'm just putting that number here in here, and that's our original equation. So if I expand this out, what happens now? We're going to have some x and b terms. So x cubed plus bx squared take 6x, and for our 1s we'll have a minus x squared and minus bx, and should get positive 6. Okay, so we've got a b. We've got x cubed take 2x squared take 5x plus 6 is actually equal to x cubed plus bx squared take 6x take x squared take bx plus 6. Okay. Now, equating coefficients, that's what we want to do. So we've got an x cubed term, there's no other terms, so that's good. Our x squared term, well, we've actually got 2 over here. So let's take that out as a coefficient. Alright, x squared times b gives me bx squared, and I want a minus 1 there. I'm not doing anything with the x cubed, and I've got a minus 6x here and a plus 6. That's all good. So now, if we have a look, I've got x cubed take 2x squared take 5x plus 6 is equal to x cubed plus x squared times a constant take 6x plus 6. Equating coefficients, so we already know what that one was. We've got a 2 here, or actually minus 2, is actually going to be equal to that. So we can say, because that's our x squared term, so we can say minus 2 is actually our coefficient for b take 1. Now, don't really need the brackets here, so b take 1, okay, plus 1 to both sides. My b is actually going to be minus 1. And that's all I've done, that's all I need to do. So what I'm saying is, now, that this equation here, I'm going to rewrite as p of x equals x take 1 x squared, because a was 1, our b is actually minus 1x, and we've got a minus 6, and that's all I need to do. Okay, that's the hard part, is getting that first factor. We could go another step further. Okay, you got x squared take x plus 6. Alright, what are the factors of that quadratic? Okay, you can use your quadratic formula, do whatever method you want to use. 2 numbers to multiply together to get minus 6. Well, I'm going to say minus 6 and positive 1. It gives us minus 6. Minus 6 plus 1. No, that's not going to work. 3 and 2. So minus 3 times minus 2 gives me minus 6. Minus 3 plus 2 gives me that minus 1 there. So my other two factors are minus 3 and plus 2. So p of x, we've just factorised it. We've got p of x, x cubed, take 2x squared, take 5x plus 6. Factorise it. Okay, that first one is going to be the hardest. That middle part is our next step to find that quadratic, and then using our traditional methods to find the other two factors. So there's my three factors. Bit complicated and it's very lengthy, but after a few examples I think it'll start to make a bit more sense. So let's get stuck into the questions and let's see how we go.